Okay, jet setters, weekly special. Why not? This is me trading the Aussie. This is for education, right? Not financial advice. This is for education. This is me making money out of the Aussie. I love trading the Aussie. Trade it with the futures, and I like it for a couple of reasons. The market, I understand, because I'm Australian. It trends nicely, and when it does trend, it goes up and down. Equity markets, I don't really like trading as much because essentially equity markets, they always go up, right? So you might as well just be long and have the cojones to hold it for as long as you can. Whereas the Aussie, like it range trades over the long term. Here's the Aussie. If we go back, monthly, right? I think I've shown this one before. You can see, really like most of the action. You can do it on the wide there to 90 cents, right? You do it on the narrow, it's like 80 cents. 80 is a sell, a good sell. It's down to 60. 60 is a good buy, right? Now, sure, it breaks out, but this is going back for 1980 to mid 1980s, right? It's a long time. This is what it does. It goes up and it goes down. So for trading, it's good for that. This is what I've been doing. I'm just going to run through two things. One that I've been doing lately, and the other one's like one of my most satisfying trades in a long time. If we go down daily, right? I guess I've done a few trades here that have been paying off so far. And how it started off was it didn't quite start off here. But where it started off was I was watching the markets late one night, and I saw this, it just ticked over 80 cents, right? And I looked at that, and it was 10 or 11 o'clock at night from memory. Let's see if I can find it. It was 10, I was sitting having a scotch or a red wine or something like that. It was right here. 7 o'clock at night. That's Aussie time when it just hit the peak. Oh, actually 8 o'clock, like just on 8 o'clock at night. And you can see it didn't stay up there long at all. And it just peaked up here, between like 7 and 8 o'clock, like, 9 o'clock. Is that? So from 7 o'clock, that's where it first had that little peak. 7 o'clock, you can see that candle there. So actually, to get it right, it's 8 o'clock and then 10 o'clock, right? It was over, right? So it was there for like an hour, not very long at all. And this little pattern, like engulfing candle, that's a bearish kind of thing, then confirmed. And it was, by the next morning, it was over, right? And I was kicking myself because I always thought 80, when it gets to 80, great time to sell. So I was paying a little bit more, started paying a bit more attention to it, saw it sold off, saw it come back, and then I saw this, and I thought, mate, this is like a head and shoulders, right? Now, I'm not a fan of head and shoulders. 9 times out of 10, they're just a technical joke. They never work out, but this one did, right? And it was a classic, like left shoulder, head, right shoulder, on declining momentum, right? And I was thinking, right, if it kind of breaks down here, right, around this area, then and it confirms, then I'm going to short it. I guess I was a little bit hesitant, right, because this is like 75, level, and not a great level to go short at. Particularly the way the risk on trade was, going about, like globally. Anyway, so it went down, came back, tested it, rejected it, and for me, when it rejected it, that was right. This is the time to short it. So I shorted like 74 and a half, maybe like 74.60, something like that, and had a stop like around here where this neckline was a little bit higher than there. I think it was like that high there, just 70, just on 76. I managed to not get stopped out. There was a quick fake here, and then it was on. So I wrote it down, short the futures, and I was, I guess, following this trend line here. Right? Now, when it got to this point, this is where I bought it back. I bought it back, not on the ding dong, but I bought it around about here. It was 71 and a little bit. It went down a little bit further, but then it reversed. And the reason why I bought it back there was, you can see, I looked on the RSI here, and you know, on this daily, it was heavily oversold. You know, and this kind of stabbed down. I thought, right, that is going to be a pretty good level. I did have my eye, and still have my eye on this level here, which is a little bit lower, like which is down to 70. But when it did that, I thought, oh, oversold. I've kind of made enough out of it. You can't pick the high and the low. I thought, right, that's going to cash it in, let it reset, and have another go. So that was the first trade I did. Then around it, when it came here, I shorted it again, kind of thinking, right, it's going to come back to this, test it, and then go. Now it didn't. It kind of popped up, so I stopped. And you can see just where that trend line is. This is exactly where I stopped out. I think I shorted it around about here. I can't remember. But anyway, I dusted like 0.5 cent here on the stopping out, and thought, right, well, I'm still going to have another go. Still believe it's going down. Where to next, given that this trend line was broken? So then I started looking at it a little bit longer, and I kind of lined up these cookies, like that point there, the high, the 81, and this one. So that's not the 81, that's just the high of that right shoulder. And then that point there, I thought, right, where's it going to go to? Had a look at some Fibos, like from this breakdown point, right? And thought, right, this 74.90 level, that's going to be a good level to short it. So I kept an eye on it here, and I saw it just touch this line here and come down here, and so I shorted it in here. Again, same level, 74.38, 74.40 I think it was, that I shorted it here. So same level after this breakdown here. And had the stop at this previous high here, a little bit above it, and above that trend line, and above this Fibo. It was like 7,500. I thought, maybe if it breaks 75, then it's still going to unfold higher. And I was pretty confident in this one, because on the 4 hourly, heavily overbought. So that was something where I just thought, right, that's a technical indicator, which is in my favour. Then when it did this double top here, again with the declining momentum, you can see there the RSI is weaker here, stronger to weaker. Thought, right, that's it. This is going to be a good short. And so I've been riding it all the way down. I'm not quite sure if it's going to get to this 71 level again. It's still unfolding lower, but it is at a pretty, this 73 level, just where it's sitting now, is a bit of a key level. So that's how I've been trading the Aussie, using some technical analysis, some Fibos, and just kind of paying attention to the price action on some smaller time frames. I'm going to take you back now to one of my favourite Aussie trade of all time. This one funded an overseas holiday. It was great, right? And that's this one up here, when the Aussie was up at like $1. When it was up at $1, I thought, this is insane. It's going to break, right? It just has to. And this pattern had been building for really quite some time. Just let me get back to it. And to me, this was what was going on. It was forming this big triangle at the top. I thought, that is a pattern that's going to break. So I was watching it. And to me, it was like, it's going to break down, right? For the Aussie, like at $1, going to be breaking higher. I was like, you're kidding. I had people kind of saying it's going to go to $1.50, $2. Like, mate, you guys are smoking crack. This thing's going down. So I had my eye on it at this $1 level, and particularly this level here had been catching my eye, which is really round about the middle of that triangle. But I thought, right, that's it. So I ended up selling it around about there, and again rode it pretty much all the way down, on and off, but pretty much all the way down until here. And that's when I was out to that 70 cent. I thought, look, that's good enough. That basically pulled in probably like 40 grand or something like that on the futures, and that was enough for my holiday. The other kind of interesting motivation, I was kind of thinking, being an Australian holidaying overseas, if you're selling the Aussie at $1, you know, if you can lock that in as a hedge for your overseas spend, then that's a good level. Anyway, that's it for me and the Aussie. Hope that's been interesting. We'll catch you later. Ciao.